All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. What's up, Hutch, Stan, Boza, Mitzi? Thanks for showing up. Kevin, what's good? See who else is here. What's up, Keys? Yeah, this is where the party's at, even though it's just me right now. But got some pretty cool things to talk about. So yeah, see how it goes. It's good, Will. I'm surprised you're not napping after the Brassman live earlier with Gavin from Balls to You. All right, so as many of you know, Friday I had my first clutch, so that was really cool. Uh, 5 eggs, all good veins for now. They're in the incubator. You'll need to check that out on the video coming out on Tuesday, where I go into more details about that. So for right now, since nobody's on here with me, and I'm just talking to you people in the chat, thank you so much for showing up. I'm going to talk about Dave Kaufman's Ball Python movie for a bit. I highly recommend that you do watch it. I will put the link in here in the chat so y'all can go check it out. All right, I highly recommend watching it. It gives a lot of insight into ball pythons in the wild, obviously, um, as far as the parameters in which they live, as far as like the humidity and the ambient temperature, the temperature in the burrows. It's a really good watch. I didn't go watch that, uh, but I'll just reiterate some points. Some points here. So we do incubate at the same temperature that they do in the wild, 89 degrees, which was which is nice. To get some clarification on that, they did talk about the prey items that they eat. So uh, we think they eat ASFs in the wild. Apparently, ASFs are a lab rat from South Africa, so they don't really eat that, which was kind of interesting. So they're eating any type of rodent that's endemic to Ghana, Togo, or Benin. So it was kind of interesting to hear that, um, because we over here are like, oh, they only eat ASFs in the wild, which that's not true. So just getting that information was nice, and also finding out that they, at least the ones that we get, which are from Togo, Ghana, and Benin, are they're terrestrial. So for most of the year, they're in their burrows, just chilling out until the rainy season, where it gets too wet and the burrows get flooded. So they'll go up into like trees, shrubbery, things like that to get off the ground. So that was interesting for me to hear, for because there's a lot of people that will be like, well, you need to have enrichment for your ball pythons, but branches and have them in a big enclosure. It's like, well, the ones we get live in termite mounds, burrows, things under trees, things like that. They're terrestrial. However, there are also within the ball python's range, they do live in areas that are forested and have more trees and things like that. So in those environments, they are semi-arboreal. So they will go up in trees and eat birds and stuff like that. But that's not necessarily from where we have gotten our imported ball pythons. So it was interesting to hear that both sides are kind of are right, but it depends on where the ball pythons actually live in the wild. So like I said, it was a great watch. There are some parts in the middle that are a little uncomfortable. Some of the markets that Dave goes to, but I highly recommend go watching that. I mean, And whatever they take, they eat rodents. So if they're on ASFs, that's fine. Rats, that's fine. Some of them eat hamsters. It all depends on what they'll take to eat and be healthy. So another thing I wanted to address while I'm up here, and I have my own little soapbox, and is recently where I'm from, there was a guy in the news who had a large snake. I'm assuming it was a Burmese python or a reticulated python, and he had it coiled around his neck. The police came. He was in cardiac arrest, and the cop shot the snake. Which you find the guy's gonna on the verge of dying. He's in cardiac arrest, but what the news articles don't say is what was his experience as a keeper. What did he put this thing around his neck intentionally? Did it just happen to go there? Was it a mistake? I mean, I think it's keeper error, and clearly from the articles that I've seen so far, had he had a large collection, they would have mentioned that, because every time that we see something like this in the news, and it's like always a bad publicity. It's like local man with 5,000 snakes, and this happens. But this article was just large snake coils guy up. So um, yeah, I'd like to know more of the story to that. It is local in Pennsylvania, and it could potentially lead to legislation and things like that would prevent us from keeping these animals. So I don't like stories like this that come out, especially right now in this climate, with the Lacey Act amendments that could potentially get passed. What's going on in Florida and some of the other states. Pennsylvania generally is very lenient when it comes to reptiles, and I'm hoping it stays that way, because for the most part, they're not going to be invasive here. The winters will kill anything cold-blooded that's not endemic to Pennsylvania for the most part. Um, so I mean, I hate reading stories like that, because it's always like the bad side of our industry and the bad side of the hobby. Right. Phil does know about so I'm in Allentown. Phil is around Boyertown. So this happened kind of like in between the two of us. Um, so I'll have to reach out to him, see if he heard anything else. I don't actually know of the person that this happened to, and I don't want to mention names or anything, or actually where they're from. Just that it's local in Pennsylvania to me. But we always see these stories. We never see the good stories, of local ball python breeder brings animal collection to a school or something, and does activities with the animals. We all have our animal ambassadors here. So to see kids interact with some of my animals is great. Some of my friends' kids come over. They enjoy holding the snakes, and it's great to see that. It's great to see the next generation of possible you know reptile owners and breeders interacting. But with all this stuff going on in the news, all this legislation getting passed in various states that could have a cascade effect throughout the rest of the country, they might not actually get that opportunity to do what a lot of us are doing right now. I, for one, I mean, I love every single one of these animals. Definitely they help me deal with certain things. But I do have a dog, but I would much rather have my cold-blooded friends, even if I wasn't breeding them. So I mean, to take that away, and for people that what 95% of this hobby, this industry is good, to take it away because of five or six bad actors, a couple bad actors in the hobby, that's not right. I'm all for, like, restrictions when they're needed. Um, especially when it comes to like venomous. What's up, Phil? Especially when it comes to venomous. In Pennsylvania, you can have just about any venomous snake under the sun, except if it's native. So you can go to Hamburg, buy a king cobra, and then 2 days later you take it out. You're handling it or whatever, being dumb, and you get tagged and die. And the breeder got, or the seller got his money. So I would like to see some sort of like. I mean, I don't want it to be restricted, but I want it. I want to make sure that, if you're going to go buy an animal, that you know what you're doing. That you're vetted. You're not just going, oh, I'm going to buy this king cobra because, oh, I can get views on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And not understand that this thing can kill elephants and whatever. Um, yeah. So I mean, I think it's entirely too easy in Pennsylvania for anybody to get just about anything. So if, in Pennsylvania we don't pass any legislation, to prevent incidents happening from bad keeping, then us as breeders and people that sell animals should be vetting the people that we're selling to, not just making a quick buck. It's like, okay, I say hypothetically I breed large monitors, which I can, and I can sell in Pennsylvania. So I go out to Hamburg, plop them down on my table, and I just sell my entire table off, not questioning who's buying. That's not right. That's not right. Um, you know, those animals could be wind up being cared for poorly and die. They could, whoever buys it couldn't realize doesn't realize they get huge, and then they, for some reason let them go in the wild. I never will ever understand that. Uh, but yeah, that's also creating this problem that we have. So it's up to us to be proactive. To try to get out in front of this. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, if you're not supporting US ARC, what are you doing? Why get off my channel? I'm kidding. Keep watching, but seriously, if you own just one reptile or hundreds, support US ARC. I mean, they fight for our rights to keep reptiles. And the way this climate is going in this country, the way we are portrayed in the media, we may not be able to keep these animals much longer if we do not fight. And by fight, I mean fight through legislation and fight through the courts. Don't, take up arms or anything about your ball button. Don't be like the guy that's like, oh, over my dead body. No, don't do that. We have to be professional. We have to be courteous. Don't, if you're going to write your congressmen and women, please be professional. Uh, because that's the last thing we want to, you don't want to come off as a total asshole to the people that write your laws, even if you didn't vote for them, or even if your party affiliation isn't the same. Who cares? At this point, what matters to me uh, is the ability to be able to continue to keep these animals. And as long as I'm doing it in a, they're healthy, sanitary and safe, nothing really gets out here ever. Um, I don't think that anybody should stop me from being able to keep these things. And that was a rather long rant. But yeah, some of the stuff, that's just been bugging me in this hobby, where we don't do our due diligence as breeders, as people that are selling animals. Uh, Now, I know most of you in the chat, most of the people that watch my videos, that subscribe to me on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram, we're not like that. So I'm wasting my breath in the hope that this video, this live, gets out there in the YouTube algorithm so that other people, um, can see it and maybe they'll listen. Chances are they'll just click right through it because they don't know who the hell I am. It is what it is. But you know, while we have these platforms, we have to be cognizant of what we're doing, what we're saying, and how we're presenting ourselves. And they could be, for people that have a much bigger following than me, I think we need to hammer it home that we have to support USARC. We have to actually fight these things in the courts and show up at the hearings and do all of that. Because if you just okay, you get your alert from USARC from wherever you're from, and you don't show up at that public hearing, um, yeah, you're to blame for when your animals get taken away. Um, so we really need to be proactive. Grow our community. Support each other. I've seen lately a lot of been a lot of pettiness uh, about, oh, I don't like what this person's doing. I don't like how that person presents themselves. And just stop. It's tiring. If somebody calls you out, just be the bigger person. If you believe you've done nothing wrong, um, just be the bigger person. Don't go back and forth. It is what it is. Conversely, if you sell somebody an animal that winds up being sick or dying, take care of that. Don't ghost the person. You know, we don't need this petty squabbling going on anymore. We should be focused on one thing, and that's the animals that we take care of. Yeah, that was a mouthful. Yeah, yeah, I didn't want to. I'm not going to mention names or anything. Will, um, but like the people that like watch those things like and get excited by it, we no, that's bad for the hobby. Um, I will never show live feeding of any snake on my channels. Unfortunately, sometimes I do have to show lizards eating cockroaches and things like that. Um, but there are channels that just they'll post a snake eating a live rat, and like have the microphone really close so you can hear that squeal, and that's right, not right. I mean, I do have to feed live from time to time. I hate hearing that sound. Yeah, I mean, it probably isn't Will. I've noticed on the where I do post videos of my animals eating, it's usually it's never live, but it's always views that I don't expect. It's when I look at the demographics, it's never from the U.S. It's you know I guess people get off on that. I don't, and I don't understand that. And if you're just showing animals eating to get subscribers and followers, why? It's not like you care about it. Um, yeah, I for one on this channel, I want to grow it organically, so it's all about the animals. So you'll never see me doing a video just to get views. So like I do a live on Sunday. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I have a bunch of other people on here. And we talk shop, we talk snakes, we talk husbandry, things like that. I don't want to ever do anything where it looks like I'm clawing, reaching for views and subscribers. Every video is something that I'm doing, this week, or it happened, a week ago, and I have to stack videos. Um, yeah, Gettysburg's a little far from me now, Kevin. So there's always the next show. Um, yeah, I doubt it. Oh yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Um, that there are some times where like if you're feeding venomous, most of the time they're not gonna take frozen thawed, and I get that, but just how you present that. Are you talking? When you do a video of a venomous snake eating a rodent, a live rodent, are you presenting that as an educational, um, an educational post? Are you going into details about that snake, about it, its environment where it lived, its husbandry, that it, is it educational or is it just for views and shock value? Uh, so yeah, I don't like it. I don't watch it. That sort of thing. Right, right, and you have services that pay you pay them and they'll have like a bot farm get you subscribers and views. Right. Um, So yeah, I want to make sure here on this channel that everything I do is for the animals. It's a describing the process that I go through, the ups and downs of me keeping these animals and breeding ball pythons. So, um, so last Tuesday, I dropped a video about what my plans are with, the clown gene and what I have in my collection. The week before that, it was Ultramel, Ultramel everything. This coming Tuesday is going to be the clutch pulling video. It was my first clutch ever, which was amazing. I like a pig in mud when that happened. She was laying her eggs on Friday during Hair Down Fridays. Shout out to Usual Suspects and Keys Constrictors. It was pretty cool to go back and watch me sort of reacting to that happen. So hopefully in 50 some odd days, I will have 5 healthy baby ball pythons. Um, and that's exciting. That's why, it's not the main reason why I'm doing it, but it's certainly rewarding to, buy a snake as a hatchling, feed it for 3 years, pair it to a male, and then get eggs. Now I bought this snake, the one that laid, as a $20 normal male ball python in Hamburg way back when. Well, she's female, so it's like the best $20 I ever spent. Thanks, Victor. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I mean I appreciate that when you're just chopping it up on shows, um, but try to keep it relatively not offensive, because one, it's out in the public now, uh, and two, you know this can be used against us. So you can have a live where some things get said that aren't politically correct or whatever, and I get the whole freedom of speech thing, but somebody can use that against you later. um, so I mean, you just have to watch what you say, because in the whole world, theoretically, is going to have access and see these videos. So sorry, mom, if I've done something stupid or ignorant on my channel. But yeah, I just want to be welcoming, uh, here. Like I say, anybody is welcome. If you have one ball python, or if you're Justin freaking Kabelka, you are welcome to come here. Uh, Thanks, Terrence. Ma, I made it. I made the eggs finally. They were not. They were happy for my parents were happy for me, but they were like, okay, cool. My dad asked me if he could scramble them. I told him that he'd have to pay me $600, and that I would never let him do that. But right, exactly, Stan. Uh, you could have put out a video in good conscience and things like that, and you know, depending on how you have your channel set up, people can take those clips, so they can take it completely out of context and use that against you. So I don't know if I can rant for the full 90 minutes that I have set aside for myself. I certainly can go on about this, but I do definitely think that we as a community need to be proactive. A lot of times we're reactive, right? So when the Lacey Act amendments came out, we didn't know that was going on. USARC told us, um, and we found out that way. So rather than have that stuff happen, we need to present ourselves in a good light. We can't continue to have these news stories of venomous keeper gets killed by his own snake, um, large snake owner gets coiled up. I mean, we can't have that continue constantly be in the news. I mean, I've been joking about the movie Anaconda and snakes on a plane have like ruined the perception of snakes, to the general public. Um, and I think that's true. The snakes are big and scary for most of the people that aren't us. Now, I don't think snakes are big and scary. I do respect the hell out of venomous snakes and large constrictors because we have to. Um, yeah, I can get her out. If she'll let me. I Jessica, I don't think he let them. He was in cardiac arrest and unconscious, so he had no choice in the matter. The cop just walked in, and the snake was coiled around his neck with the head over there, and he shot the snake. But like I had said earlier, I do want to learn more about this as to was it user error? There was somebody else in the household, so yeah, yeah. I mean, if you have big snakes, have a spotter. It's like squatting 1,000 pounds. You gonna do that by yourself? No. All right. So here's the girl. She's looking. Ooh, hello. A little bit better. She is tensing up, and she just tried to strike me, so I'm gonna put her back. Um, yeah, she's doing well. Okay, we can talk about something else there. Well, all right. Cattle cubes. Is it the same ingredients? 'Cause I know most of the rodent feeds like what 18 to 23% or something like that. I mean, I would think that if it's the same and if it's just larger, then it's not gonna fall in to your rat rack, and get soiled as fast. I mean, that was the one thing I did like about the Kent product, but apparently they've had mold and a bunch of other stuff going on there. Um, but I feed Kalmbach just because I can get that's the cheapest one I can get, and it's good quality. She does. I was surprised that she tried to nip me, but it is what it is. Yeah, she just laid 5 eggs 2 days ago, and a third of her body weight. So I'd be pissed too. But yeah, she's doing well. We'll see if she eats in a week or so. But yeah, I'm excited to get five healthy eggs. Like I said, I'll go more into it. I go more into it on the video that comes out on Tuesday. So hope you go watch that. All right, here we go. Victor from Far Out Exotics has a 1K giveaway for some limited edition swag. You have to follow him on Instagram, like, comment on the post to have a chance to win. That's cool. Congrats. Hope you get there soon, man. One issue I had when I got the Kalmbach off of Chewy, the first time I bought 2 50-pound bags, they sent me one of the rat food and then one of the layer crumbles for chickens. Uh, so I got refunded and got to give that bag to a friend. So it's nice that they work things out like that. Uh, the second time I didn't have an issue when I got it, and I still have a bag and a half, so I'll be good for a little bit. What's up, JJ? How's it going? Dominique, welcome, welcome. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate every single one of you that tunes in here, every week that watches my videos because you know until a couple days ago, I wasn't really a snake breeder. So yeah, it's really cool to have people tune in to listen to my updates, listen to my rants, and when I have other people on the panel. Yeah, a lot of times we have very good conversations. So yeah, I mean, it's really yeah, it's awesome. It's like, oh, really? You're watching my my YouTube or you're following me on Instagram. Oh, you shared my story about you. For that's to Gavin from Balls to You. I did a shout out to Grassman and Rob. They had Gavin on earlier at around 4 today, and so I shared that out, and they all reshared my story. So that was kind of cool. Uh, did I did rocking the baby do anything, or she was going that day no matter what? I have no clue if it did. In our one Instagram chat, there's a joke that whenever your ball python isn't doing something that you would like it to, you change the water bowl. So, to humor some of the people in that chat, on Friday morning, I changed out the water bowl, and Friday night she started laying. So, and I think with Jeremy Warfel, he had one that was a little late too, and he did the same thing and delayed that day as well. So maybe changing the water bowl actually does something. I don't think it does, but I just think it's funny that, right, Phil? It's not even change the water bowl. She didn't lay. Change the water bowl. It, I think honestly, it was Charlie from Reagan Renee Royal Pythons being sarcastic in the chat, and then it just grew from there. Right, Rob? Is one snake wasn't eating, he changed the water bowl. Boom, right on food. So I mean, I think that's funny. Don't take that seriously. I don't think really changing the water bowl will do anything other than having fresh water or a clean water bowl for your animal, which you should have anyway. But yeah, it makes me laugh because now every time something happens in that group chat, it's did you change the water bowl? I do. Right now, I'm working with a lot of. I'm building that head army, but I do plan on adding like Bongo Nanny, if I can, Acid. A couple other things that I've seen that have worked well with Ultramel, or I believe could. I do have. I gotta go get it from Chris. I have a proven breeder Bumblebee Spark. Uh, so I'm excited to get that because I don't have anything yellow belly in my entire collection. Anything in that complex. And Keys has been giving me crap about it for a while now because you know him. He's yellow belly everything. So with getting that spark, my buddy does have some ivories and some, I believe, yellow bellies, possible gravel, and it's something else in that complex. So we're going to try to work Ultramel into that, and Ultramel everything, and then try to get some Ultramel, highways, freeways, bypasses, pumas, things like that. Uh, so that's a joint project we're working on, and we're also going to do. I'm going to send my clown 66% hypo male up there next year or this coming season because he's ready, and I don't have anything ready that I want to pair him to. So he's going to go up there, and we're going to make some cool, you know, pet clowns that we want to work into a clown project. And since it is 66% head hypo, there's the possibility that they all could carry that too if he does prove out to be 100% head hypo. So yeah, we're gonna work together, try to build some of the things that we don't need to buy. My collection is pretty small, and I intend to keep it that way because I know I'm going to be holding back a lot. So what I'm breeding, it's with intent. Uh, whew. Okay, so let's see. My chat moved quite a bit. So Phil says he tried changing his wife's water bottle. It didn't work. Oh, it is what it is. At least she's letting you have all them steaks. Snoopy bowls. I use the deli cups in the plumbing, and this is kind of gross. It's got to get changed, but they do fit perfectly in here. The 4-inch end cap. So I mean that is nice. That I just replace the deli cups every so often. I got them on like 1,000 from Amazon, so I have plenty, and it works well for me too because I do sell dubia and isopods from time to time. Hey, you know what? She was a normal. You never know, Kike. There might be some very nice looking normals that come out, and they might not be het for anything. And that's just something that I have to deal with if it does happen. I'm hoping that she is het for pied because she does have the tracks, and with champagne in the pairing, I could very well get a champagne het pied that looks like a pied, so that would be cool. Um, I'd be bummed if it wasn't, but at the same time, I got eggs. I'm happy. If I have to sell off everything and I can't use them, that's fine. Yeah, it can be. That wasn't the same snake. That was just the one I could reach. But I did change out. I actually swapped the water bowl from the mom and dad, and that worked. Yeah, yeah. But again, we don't. We don't want to be. We all do it, or most of us do, and I do agree with Phil. Everything was smaller than it should have been. I had picky eaters, but the second I got my rat colonies and was producing rodents, everything started to get back on food like that. I had a picky boa, would only take pinkies, pinky mice. Thing's 2 years old. It should not have been eating pinky mice. But the second I got, I was able to start feeding it live, appropriately sized meals. It started taking them, and now he's an even bigger butthead because he hates me. But yeah, I mean, if I could feed frozen thawed all day, that'd be great. But unfortunately, it's expensive uh, to purchase in quantity. So for me, like I've done it like it's like a gradient, right? So picky eater, feed it live a couple times, then switch to fresh killed, um, and then switch to frozen thawed. Um, I've had that. I've done that with quite a few. Let's see, James. I know I posted your comments on here. Thanks for joining in. All to his glory exotics. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the support. I think it's cheaper. It also depends on the size of your collection. Need to preface that, but I think it is cheaper because you're paying $6 for wood shavings and $30 for a 50-pound bag of food, give or take a couple dollars depending where you're at. That is from right there. What you can produce from having your own rodents is going to be double. It was double, triple my rodent pro order. So say if all my rats were to die tomorrow, I have enough in the freezer right now from my own collection that I can last a couple months. Uh, so yeah, I think right now I'm overproducing rodents, which is fine because sometimes they won't reproduce. They won't stay to that same cycle, or I'll have to replace the males and females in a certain colony. So it just gives me a buffer in case something should happen. Maybe some die off unexpectedly or something like that. So I would recommend it if you can. Um, it certainly helped to have them on hand, especially you know, God willing, in a couple months. When these eggs do hatch, I will have, or hopefully, I will have appropriately sized food items for them on hand, whether it be live or I'm going to prepare and freeze them off as well. So just in case it doesn't line up with when I hatch out the snakes to when the rats have a litter. So definitely. Even with inflation right now, 'cause I'm not paying for shipping aside on the rodent food. Ooh. Hmm. I may have to contemplate doing that, or think of something when I do have a lot in excess. Just offering up to, put it on Craigslist or whatever, just to see. Hey, does anybody need feeders or want rats? Because I do have Rex, Dumbo. There's a we'll call them fancy rats. You got big ears and they're sort of hairless. So I may sell some of them off as pets at a premium, or that too. That's a way to get new bloodlines, so you're not making you don't have to worry about genetic issues in your rats. That is something I need to do in the future. Maybe a year or two, just add some new blood in, just to avoid strict line reading. So what I've been doing is I've been taking a male and two females or three females from the two different colonies and putting them together when I do my grow when I grow out to replace the breeders. So at some point in the future, that'll all get mixed together, and I'll have to add new blood in. Oh wow, yeah, I might. Like I said, that's something I may have to start doing when I do have excess, because I do intend on downsizing my lizards and those that need dubia. So dubia are one of the best insect feeders for lizards, and it's kind of it takes a while and some money to establish your own colony. So if you have more than you need, rather than have them die off, which they can from sometimes, males will overexert themselves and die, or you can't feed them enough, or something happens, where you can't feed them off fast enough, which I've experienced. That is something that I wish I would have thought of, to just be like, hey, local pet store, I have these. You want to take them? Well, I can definitely start making some bags. But yeah, I mean that's something that I've thought about, is keeping what I can for me, what I know I need, and then just setting others to the side and see if I can sell them off, make some money, help somebody out. Because it's definitely cheaper to meet somebody at a show or whatever and be like, here you go, here's 50 smalls, however many weens, whatever, what have you. Than ordering, paying $50, having to have a minimum amount that makes it financially feasible to order from one of the bigger outlets. Yeah, so it's funny because when I had my monitor, that's what was eating everything. Right, I had a Savannah monitor, and it was chowing down on all these. It was eating my excess adult dubias, which was great for keeping the colony in check. Now without that, my bearded dragons only eat a handful. They're varying sizes, and there's still quite a bit uh, that I'm unable to feed off. And oftentimes, Craigslist, whatever, I'm having issues selling them due to shipping. Uh, Lately, it's been hot as hell, and I don't want to deal with that. So, I mean, if the bearded dragon's older, then it's going to switch from more of an insect-based diet to a fruit, veggies, that type of diet. That's just what happens. Um, but yeah, I'm very happy that say we have another pandemic or whatever, and whole supply chain shuts down. I got food for my lizards up there and over there, and I got food for my snakes over there in the closet. So that is nice. That is peace of mind. So when everybody was complaining, oh, I can't get crickets, oh, I can't get this, I can't get that, I can't get that. Well, You know, maybe you should have, hedged your bets. And if you have had a large collection or a decent sized collection, then you should have started, you know, making your own food for your animals. Um, I do feel bad for the people that had like one bearded dragon as a pet and couldn't get crickets. That stinks. But then again, you need to get integrated into your community. Um, so maybe you didn't know this, and you lived in my apartment complex, and I was sitting here the whole time with Dubia. So, so you could have just come over, and I may have been nice and helped you out and gave you a great deal, or given to you for free because I had too many. Um, so, I mean, I think that's one thing we need to do better is as breeders, as people that keep more animals, as people that keep the food items readily available for ourselves, is that we need to connect with the people that may just have a pet, because they could be potential customers, um, even if they're not in the same, if they don't keep the same animals that we do. So dubia can get fed to many lizards, rats can get fed to many, snakes, lizards, things like that. So it's important that we just don't pigeonhole ourselves into like, oh, we're all just ball python people, or we're all just crested gecko people, or fish people, whatever. We need to band together as keepers of these exotic animals, and I believe that that's been a constant throughout this live tonight. Is that this community has gotten a lot better, but we need to make it even more better. And that grammar probably sucks. Sorry, mom. But yeah, follow other breeders on social media. Follow, crested gecko breeders. Follow leopard gecko breeders. Follow bearded dragon breeders. Branch out. Eh, if you breed lizards and things like that, follow the snake people. We're all doing the same thing. We're all fighting for the same rights to keep these animals. I'm not new to the hobby. I am new to the breeding side of things. So I had reptiles pretty much my entire life that I can remember. Um, but only this year did I produce. I had a leopard gecko give me an infertile egg, which I don't know if I posted about that. I know I posted that she was gravid and that she laid, but the egg was infertile. Um, and just recently, I had my first clutch of ball python eggs. So fingers crossed that I have no incubator issues, that I have no issues in the next 50 some odd days until I have snake babies, and that's going to be awesome. And it's going to be 33 years of waiting for this moment type of thing. I was a weird kid that like Steve Irwin, liked reptiles, like didn't like dogs, even though I have one now. So yeah, it's kind of interesting for me because I had all these animals until I graduated high school, and when I went off to college, I got rid of everything except for like a corn snake and a ball python. Um, Eventually, I did get some leopard geckos. I had them in college, and then I traded them to a buddy for another ball python, and I had that with me until I moved in here in about another year. And she was a female. She was older. I don't know how old she was, but we had planned to breed her to a banana mocha. This was, I think, 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago. I forget. Unfortunately, she died while she was getting paired to the male, and that bummed me out because I like was just about to start this kraftbrewmorphology thing on social media. It's like, okay, I'm going to start this off. I'm going to have, you know, a ball python clutch. I'm gonna have babies ready to go, show off all this stuff, and that didn't happen. Uh, so I had this the other oldest snake I had was this male normal that I bought at Hamburg, and well, it turned out to be female. And that's the one that was sitting on eggs. So I mean, like I said, best $20 I ever spent. But just to see, the waiting after having a disappointment like that, right? I mean, it was worth it. I had to wait another year or two, and have some luck on my side that the male wound up being female. So yeah, I mean, it's been worth it, and I really hope that we can get our act together as a hobby and convince the people that do give us a bad name or a bad reputation in the media to join along to maybe change their ways. I hope that we can do that because I love these animals. They're special. There's just something about them. I mean, how cool is? I mean, just we'll take the ball python for instance. There are more genetic combinations, I think, in that species than any other on the planet. I mean, it's insane. And then the ones that occur in the wild is even more insane. There's wild piebalgs. I, there are snakes that exist in the wild that probably don't live that long, and luck out because they do when they do because of how they live. They live in the burrows. So I just think it's incredible what we've done and how far we've come. With the genetics of the snake. Yeah, yeah, Phil. It's better to ship when it's slightly cool than when it's really hot. Uh, All right, Tammy, thank you for joining. Okay, you have a Western hognose gecko, a bunch of geckos. Ooh, a tokay gecko. They're mean. Uh, king snake, gopher snake, and a leopard gecko, and a toad. All right, cool, cool, cool. Thank you for coming in. Will says he's still very new. 1 year ago is when he decided to get a reptile and spent forever watching YouTube videos, and then he found Morph Market. And I'm assuming, like the rest of us, uh, he went down that rabbit hole and then saw all these other, crazy snakes. And for me, um, so when I had gotten rid of a lot of my reptiles before I went to college, back then there weren't much ball python genetics. It was like albinos, clowns. There was a handful. So, all right, I'm gonna get, I'm moving to my own place. Okay, I'm gonna get back into ball pythons. So me, based on my knowledge from then, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get like black pastels, some of these genetics that are, they've been around for a while, but and still work, but they aren't, exactly cutting edge. And I could have, you know, rather than nine snakes, but three that were bangers. But anyway, luckily for me, a lot of what I bought was female. So eventually, when I caught up to what was going on in the market, I was able to purchase, an ultramel pinstripe male and a couple other recessives that work well with what I already have. So moving forward, um, thanks to Billy Rose, and when I found his channel, and he's like, "Well, you're doing this wrong." Um, so having a new frame of mind and what to look for, and how to look at my collection and view it, down the road. What am I going to do? What's my plan? So in my head, I have a plan for just with what's here for the next decade of what I want to do, and if this happens, then I'm going to do that type of thing. Um, so I think you have to moving forward, you have to think positively about you're going to hit those odds. You're going to even if you have a smaller collection, I can't do 5 males to 15 females to try to figure this out or hit this combo. I am not that size. So, I have maybe 1 to 3 for each project. And that's something I have to deal with. So I could get extremely lucky, which I hope I do. And I'm thinking that way that I will. Or I could just never hit a visual, double recessive. And it is what it is. But, I like to think that I'm going to hit those odds and frame my thinking that way. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's really rewarding um, to raise the animals up and then breed them rather than I because I at the time I could have bought 1 male and 3 females that were breeder size and just done it that way. But chances are they wouldn't have the genetics of what I can make now. So I could have bought a bumblebee breeder. A normal breed, things like that. And spent the same amount of money for the proven breeders, but at the same time, I'd have less snakes and less genetic diversity with the morphs. So I'm happy I did it the way I did, and had my luck along the way of happening to purchase female ball pythons instead of being male heavy. So yeah, yeah, it's been a fun ride. Honestly, I have pictures of my place from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when there was like one tank with a ball python and one bearded dragon and my dog, and that was it. And now I'm sitting in front of racks and PVC enclosures, PVC enclosures over there, tortoise tub, they're everywhere. I got rats in the closet. So yeah, it's been crazy to see how much I've grown. And then I've only been on the social media aspect of this since last I think April or something like that is when I started. So to be hovering around 2,000 followers on Instagram, to have almost 200 subscribers on here, it's kind of crazy considering I haven't actually produced anything. So I really appreciate that. It sort of blows my mind that I have 16 people here watching me ramble on just by myself. I've showed off one snake tonight, one snake so far, and y'all are still in the chat, and I really really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I It's amazing. Like I never thought I could be up here. I'm an introvert, by the way. I never thought I could be up here for right now we're going on an hour of just me talking, and I'm just talking to a camera to the world. Um, and I'm hoping you're listening and taking some of the things I say, um, and putting them to practice as far as this hobby and the way we present ourselves. Um, and I've rambled and completely lost the chat, so I'm going to try to pick up. Kaiju, thank you for popping in. Gary, thanks for showing up. Yeah, smash that like button. Justin, thank you. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, finally, the girl finally laid, so I'll shut up about it in the chat for now until we get closer to the egg cutting, or if I have any issues, I'm sure you all will hear about it. Yeah, I mean, there's just something about even like it's a lot easier with rats, but like when I had my first rat litter, I was so happy, and then mom ate them. uh, so, and then I did some research, and that's common for the first, couple litters in a new place. They could be stressed out, things like that, or it could have been my dog. Um, so, yeah, but I mean, it was exciting. So, I think it's going to be even more exciting to cut this clutch in September. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I mean, if you can, I mean, there, I like doing it that way, mainly because I could get more hatchlings than I could breeders. I was so I like I said earlier, I was able to get many more snakes than just one or two proven breeders. Yeah, yeah, we wound up holding the boards there at the end of the barbecue. I'm sure Danny is still upset and confused as to how we won, but we did. You can read that. I'm not going to say it. I am, however, going to get a drink of water because I feel like it's been a while and I've been rambling. I also made some banging smoked baby back ribs, and I had them for dinner. So yeah, it's been a little difficult to talk this much or this long. Thank you for everybody who's been putting up with me. And like I said, this has been a solo show, and I think I've been doing pretty damn good holding the fort here. But we're getting near the end of this. All right, Patrick, thank you for showing up. Michaela, thanks for tuning in. You missed a long about a 1 hour rant from me and some updates. So yeah, I hope that I did say some good things and made some valid points about where we need to what we need to do here. And I know I probably repeated myself ad nauseum, but sometimes it happens. This was completely off the cuff. I don't have a script here. I just have my phone in front of me, and I haven't really touched that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that has joined this live. Thank you to everybody that is subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed, please do smash that like button, hit that notification bell. Comment on the replay. Call me an idiot if I said something stupid on here. That's fine. We all need some criticism from time to time. Um, but yeah, before I go on much longer, I just want to do one thing before I leave, and I need to drop a link into the chat. That's where I'm sending y'all, because I am definitely not going over 8 o'clock tonight, because y'all are crazy if you don't get off of here and tune into Jeremy Warfel's channel. He's got Brian Cusco on tonight, so that should be a good one. Yep, exactly, Will. So I always like to end the show where I lead into Jeremy's live. Had I had people on here tonight, we probably would have gotten a little bit closer, but I am tired of talking. Uh, so thanks for tuning in. Remember to check me out next week, every Sunday at 6:30 here. Hopefully next week I have a panel on. I'm gonna try to be a little more diligent in trying to get people on. Um, Work has been crazy, and I just did it last minute today. So unfortunately, some people couldn't come on, and that's fine. That is what it is. Check out my clutch pulling video that drops Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know what? Thank you. That is, I think, the longest I have talked in years since I was like in grad school without anybody chiming in or giving me a break. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.